Yo, what's good, YouTube? Since feeling back with another video, and my last rolling video was like 16 minutes or whatever. So um, I am going to hurry up. Sorry about my kids, but I'm going to hurry up uh, and try to get through this one. So we just gonna jump right into it. Now today we're gonna be rolling Backwoods. Now me, it's usually this flavor, vanilla, or so sweet, original, vanilla, or Russian cream are usually one of my go-tos for these. So that's kind of what we got today. So now what you want to do, so you got two sides. So usually this side is the end piece now. So usually what you want to do, you want to go to the top where the mouthpiece is, and you want to find, so let me talk louder. So you want to find like a line that you can start unraveling. Now on this one, the line starts right here. I don't know if you can see that, but the line starts right here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start, I'm a kind of, let me see if I can show you out my hands, kind of like this, to where it starts moving up, and then I'm gonna unravel. So you can see that piece sticking up. So you basically just unraveling, and boom. Now this one is easier. I'm looking at it now, I can already tell this is going to be an easier roll. And I usually have scissors when I'm rolling Backwoods because I like to trim the leaf a little bit, but we can just rip it off. But the main thing you want to do with woods, if you can see that, you always want to roll with the stem. It's easier to roll with the stem, meaning, let me clean this part off, meaning that you see this would be the mouthpiece, so it'll almost be rolled, it'll be straight like this, basically, is how I want to roll the blunt. So basically, when you tuck it, or like when you're tucking it, or like in half, you basically want this leaf to look, you see the stem right there, you want the stem to be straight. You always want to roll with the stem, that's easiest. But this is kind of how this one's gonna look. Every leaf is gonna be different, so every leaf is not gonna come like this. So boom. So now usually I look at it and I try to figure out what's gonna be my mouthpiece and what's gonna be the end I like. So from looking at this, I can tell that this is gonna be the end that I like, this is gonna be my mouthpiece. But then I also want to tell what's gonna be, which side of this is gonna be the outside. So I like to roll from left to right. So in the camera it may be backwards, but I like to roll like how you read, from left to right. So with that being said, this is going to be the front, the mouthpiece, and this is going to be my outside leaf. So once I've discovered what part of the leaf is going to be the outside, I'm gonna I usually try to find like that little uneven piece, because I rip this off and try to make a straight line as possible. So boom, I'm gonna just rip off a little piece of that right there, so it's like this. Now as you can see, there's my leaf. This is how I'm gonna roll it. Now the reason I tore this piece off is because this is gonna be the outside of the blunt, so it makes it easier to stick once you tuck and roll. It makes it way easier as opposed just to having the regular part of the outside leaf. This part's gonna help it stick. So boom, this is how my leaf gonna look. So I'm gonna just wet it around the edges a little bit. And again, it's windy, so I apologize, as you can see. But beautiful day outside though. So boom. So I got my edges wet. So now what you're gonna use, like I said, episode 1 with the bamboo papers, you kind of want to roll the woods the same way. So whatever amount you use in a wood, you want to use in that paper, and vice versa. So I think I used about 2 G's or something along those lines in that paper. So the same with this wood, and especially with woods, you want to have a decent amount of weed If you're gonna have like a gram or something like that, I would suggest either use a paper or trim a lot of the leaf off, because at that point you're getting a nicotine high, not getting a weed high. If you got a lot of leaf and not a lot of bud, it's gonna be very harsh. And that was my problem with woods when I first started smoking them. I was just like, man, it's not hitting like a swisher or whatever. And I'm like, of course not. Duh, Montel. Like, it's not gonna hit like a swisher because it's not a swisher. This is leaf, so it's gonna be harsh. So you gotta put a decent amount. So what we got today, the type of flower we got, some blue nerds, smaller buds though, smaller buds, but we got blue nerds. So all we doing at this point is just breaking it down. So like this, when it comes to woods, I never use a grinder. You can use one, especially if for those who like to use like the like whether it be glass tips or organic tips, or if you just like to have a filter on your wood, then I guess you can, but I wouldn't grind it too fine. Depending on the kind of grinder you got and how good it is, I would just give it like a twist or two, to where it's still like the consistency is still kind of chunky, but it's easier to mold to the wood. Because I feel like when you grind weed and you putting it in a wood or a blunt for that matter, anything, if you're grinding weed and you're not putting it in a paper or a bowl or whatever the case may be, it's harder to roll. It's harder to roll, and then a lot of people don't like to put filters on wood stuff, so you're gonna get a lot of that stuff in your mouth unless you absolutely close off the mouthpiece. So that's why I don't grind weed with the grinder if I'm rolling the wood or like a cigarello or something like that. But I'm trying to make sure I got enough weed in here, like I said. So right now I'm just breaking down my product. Like I said, there's some blue nerds. I'm going to get back to the reviews very soon, but it seems like you guys appreciate the rolling videos, so I'm gonna try to get back in that and start this auto rolling series. So let me make sure I got enough. I want to make sure I got enough weed in here. This looks like enough. Let me see. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. If anything, I may put. Oh, no, that's good. So now that your leaf broken down, your weed is broken down, what you want to do, same thing as we did with the paper. You want to hold it, and then keep your two thumbs on the outside, your two pointer fingers on the inside, on the top of the weed, and then keep like your middle fingers on the outside to kind of keep the leaf in place. But you want to pack it down same way we did in the paper video. You want to pack it down. As you packing it down, use those same fingers to push it in, anything that falls, and you just want to continue to pack down. So now this one's probably a little bit easier because of the type of weed it is, and that I didn't break it down by grinder. So this is definitely going to help. So once you pack it down, boom. Now you see, I'm gonna turn it over real quick, but I just want to close this to make sure nothing falls out. So you see the stem. That's gonna happen. But you see the stem right here, going straight across. So now sometimes these leaves can be tricky because, as you can see, okay, so this is the outside, but the inside is like not even. So sometimes you'll have to start from the back. It just depends on the leaf. I like to start to wherever there's the most leaf on the inside, which is, you see this right here. So now you can tuck and roll this part, but you'll have a chance of your weed falling out. So what I would do is I would so like pinch and then I would use your other hand to rip off as straight of a line as possible of the leaf that you're gonna tuck, because you don't need all this. You don't need all this extra. See, not just drop weed, but you don't need all that extra. You don't need all that extra leaf. Now, if you want it, then by all means go for it. But the less leaf, or the leaf that's proportionate to what you're smoking and how much you're smoking, you know, just do what you feel. So I'm gonna pinch right here, and I'm just gonna rip as straight of a line as I can off. It's not gonna be perfect, so rip that off. Now with this one particularly, I'm gonna back roll. So I'm gonna start from the piece that I'm gonna light, and I'm gonna work my way to the mouthpiece. So make sure those fingers are where they're supposed to be, the ones in the middle where they are. Make sure you're pushing your stuff in, stuff's gonna fall out. So boom, I'm gonna take my inner piece, which is this higher piece, and I'm gonna come back, kind of how I did the paper. You kind of roll down with your thumbs, and that inner piece should automatically come down how you rolling down. And then once you tuck it, you want to roll it back up. And now your weed is gonna fall out. Anything that falls out, you can put it back in at the end. So that part's tucked. You see a little piece of that. So boom. And all I'm doing is going backwards. Basically how I roll a joint with the filter. But yeah, stuff's gonna fall out. You can push your stuff in as you go. That's gonna happen. But once that's tucked, I'm gonna fasten that piece at the end. So boom, and I just keep working my way from the mouthpiece, from the piece you light to the mouthpiece. Tuck and roll, tuck and roll. There's a lot of weed falling out, and especially with leaves and woods and stuff. As you rolling, sorry about that, guys. As you rolling, a whole lot more weed's gonna fall out than like a joint or a regular cigarillo. I don't know why, but it does. So, boom, going back, I'm tucking and rolling, tucking and rolling. Now, this is what we got so far. Now, I usually have a pair of scissors, because I like to cut off any excess as far as the mouthpiece, because I don't like having like that excess. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna bite it off, but I'm trying to tuck what I got in here in first. So see all that space? That's the mouthpiece. I don't like that. So I push it in to where it's even as possible. Then I'm gonna bite it off. So like I said, weed's gonna fall out. So make sure, if you cheat like me, make sure you sitting over something to where you can get your weed. So boom. So now that's too loose for me. So what I'm gonna do is take a point and unravel, but not all the way. I'm gonna unravel to the mouthpiece, and then what I'm gonna do is re-roll the area of the mouthpiece to where it's as small as possible, to where nothing falls out, but you can also still hit it. So tucking it in, boom, and then once I got it to where I want it, which stuff's still falling out, that's fine. Once I got it to where I want it, after I tuck it, I'll tighten it back. Boom. And then every place that it was loosened, I'm gonna tighten it back. So boom. Then anything else, man, you just, so that's all right for me. It could have been better, but it is what it is. And then anything that you drop, if you have enough space, put it back in at the end. Push it down. Be careful though. Push it down. And you can always go back and, you know, fix your blunts and stuff like that. Whatever piece you feel like ain't good enough or whatever, go back and fix it, bro. Nobody's gonna judge. If they do, they don't have to smoke. That's how I feel. So I'm just putting all the weed that I dropped back in there. And then basically just going over the parts of the blunt to where I want to fix or whatever. So I'm gonna tuck this. Boom. Come out. Boom. Boom. And my friends, we have a backwood. I definitely could have been better if I had my scissors. It could have been more presentable, but you know, that's good looking right there. It's good looking. Tell you how to find a product. So boom, that's where we at. So with that being said, man, this episode 2 of the Art of Rolling, Backwoods edition. Next is gonna be a regular cigarello. That's probably gonna be the shortest video that I make as far as this series because it doesn't take long. But I'm gonna keep them going. I'm gonna actually show y'all a few different ways to roll, you know, Dutches and stuff too. So I can't wait to get into that. But yeah, man, as you see, I'm about to enjoy this. You know what I'm saying? You enjoy your wood. Hopefully it came out how you wanted it to. If not, just keep practicing, bro. I'm here for you. But this is Sense the Villain.